The funding for this video is provided by the amazing members of my Patreon. Also contributions from viewers like you. Thank you. Y'all started from PBS Kids, what you gonna do? Fight me? Anyway, roll the video. As someone who has been involved with fandom since I was in elementary school, highly don't recommend. It has been interesting to see what it has evolved into, that meaning it has become more mainstream and it has started to blend into the professional entertainment industry, and oh, I have some opinions on that. When I worked on Legacies as an extra all those years before the series had came out, the team before the series posted a video of two of its actors telling everyone what their ship name is for their characters they portray. At that moment, that's when I knew the entertainment industry was fully aware of fandom shenanigans, because aren't fans supposed to come up with the ship names? Y'all, I have so many stories to tell about my time working on this show. But anyways, mind you, I had no idea how fucking popular the Vampire Diaries was and why it was such a big deal for people. So one day, I looked at the Vampire Diaries and I saw that there was so much fan art, fan fictions, and edits made for that show. I even used to work in the town that they filmed a lot of the city in, and there's like so many gift shops and things like that that are just dedicated to the entire Vampire Diaries franchise. Then it hit me that so many people watch the Vampire Diaries and their originals for the ships. The team behind Legacies was aware of this and they decided to go and cater to that with their series. Before we get into crack shipping, we have to get into the concept of shipping first. So, what is it? Shipping, perhaps the single most popular fandom activity. Shipping involves fans rooting for two characters, or two real-life people if your fandom is reality-based, to get together romantically. Sometimes old-school fans will write ship with an apostrophe to acknowledge that the term was derived from relationship. Shipping comes from the X-Files fandom, which coined the concept in the 90s to describe fan interactions with the interminable UST, unsolved sexual tension between Mulder and Scully. Recently, I have been watching the X-Files as I enjoy watching old TV. When I start watching something, I do some research on it, and I found out part of the reason why the X-Files was so damn popular at the time was because its fandom was dedicated to shipping Fox and Dana with each other. The show's peak popularity in the mid to late 90s coincided with the pro-life rating use of the internet, where fans, self-proclaimed X-Files, gathered to debate theories and behind-the-scenes gossip while posting fanfiction, fan art, and more. I, myself, am a file and watched the entire series, posting to message boards and dabbed in fanfiction as a teen, eventually co-writing a rewrite blog as an adult. In short, I had a front row seat to the way the X-Files shaped internet culture, fandoms, broader pop culture, and even people's lives. The impact can still be felt today. While the X-Files fandom coined the term shipping, it is not the first piece of media where shipping was a big deal with its fandom. We have to go back further in time now to the 70s. If you guessed it, you're probably correct, because anytime you mention fandom and its history, this franchise pops up. And that is Star Trek. The history of shipping is connected to representation because it is also very gay and diverse, and fans will ship together two characters of the same gender, ship characters of color with someone else, or pay more attention to the only gay or gay couples of color in that said media. Why, you may ask? Well, up until I'd say like the last 10 years, gay couples were rarely in shows often, and if they were, their sexuality and romantic orientation were played for jokes, and if they are side characters, they would have very little development and screen time. One reason people enjoyed Daria was because they shipped Daria and Jane together, and they still do to this day, and from conversations that I have had with people about Daria, many felt that they thought both of them weren't straight. This topic always comes up when we talk about Tom, Jane's boyfriend, who cheats on her with Daria. It was very, very ghetto when he came into the picture. And regarding race, characters of color are usually left alone and aren't romantic with anyone in these stories created by white people, which, yes, can be read to be racist. Go look up the mammy trope. Actually, no, I'm gonna read you some of this amazing article I read relating to the mammy trope. As I mentioned this, there is so much nuances when it comes to blackness and sexuality within Western media. And the main reason I wanted to talk about this, that being asexuality and blackness, because it is very much real. There are black people in this world that identify as asexual, but I have noticed they will have their only black female character. She is one of the few people that have no type of interest in dating or whatnot, and they just devote all of their time to their non-black peers, especially white peers. I'm going to read a piece to you guys from Still Nothing, Mammy and Black Asexual Possibility by Ida Hawkins Owens, and then we will continue on with this video. This was just something I think was important to bring up. It's something that I have been wanting to talk about more on my channel, but it really has contributed a lot to why so many people push for black characters when it comes to shipping and fandom. Because Western media has a long history of simply making their black characters to be asexual coded to a certain extent because they want them to devote all of their time to their white peers. She is by invention unthreatening, solitary, self-sufficient, and endlessly available. She is motherless and fatherless by virtue of being or have been a slave. Characterized as forever old, she is not born. Her asexuality is not just she is undesirable to white men, but that she is mother to herself, seeming self-generated as an unbroken chain of service. She is summoned for obedience, relies upon her silence as a form of consent and contentment with social, can we call it that, relations. Alright, now back to what we were talking about. When it comes to characters of color and their romance being a bit of an afterthought compared to the others. Cyborg from Teen Titans 2003 is a character this happens with a lot in fandom. There's so much fan art of him and Bumblebee, as pretty much all of Cyborg's love interests were not in the house that he lived in, but everyone else's was. Look, I love this show, but I have so many damn issues with the way both Cyborg and Bumblebee and pretty much everyone who wasn't white was written. And not gonna lie, would y'all be interested in a video about why so many black people like this ship? The ship as in Cyborg and Bumblebee. I had an entire section about it written and then I took it out. Let me know, leave a comment down below please. And usually, if a person of color is in a relationship with a problematic white person, people would ship them with another person. Total Drama is a great example of this because many would rather ship Lashana with pretty much anyone in that show except for Harold, because Harold basically fetishized her. Listen, I love Total Drama, but so many of those creative decisions were straight ghetto. It's not shocking to know that people will sometimes only watch or read something simply for the relationships in the series. I have done this before. Kicking It is one of the first shows I ever watched simply because of a ship. I'm not even joking. I didn't give a flying fuck about karate. I just wanted to know if Kim and Jack were going to date. While this show was a mess and that last season is borderline unwatchable, this ship carried it until it didn't. By the way, there will be a video about this ship coming later this month. And I know we all hate this show, but when I was in high school, I was a huge fan of Girl Meets World and was into fandom. So many people, including myself, simply watched this damn show because we shipped Maya and Luke's together and Riley and Farkle together. Did we like the show? Not really, because it was poorly written and it did an ass job of teaching the audience much of anything, but we watched it because of shipping. I mentioned in my book that shipping discourse can get annoying. The main reason because people will talk about a piece of media and someone will bring up shipping when it has little to do with the matter. And yes, I am talking about something that personally annoyed me when I was talking about Lunella's mother Adriel in the series Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, and someone felt the need to try to change the subject on how they ship Lunella and Casey together. There's a time and place for everything, alright? Now that we have shipping out the way, what is crack shipping? Okay, for the context that I will be speaking about in this video, this is what crack shipping is. To simply put it, it's shipping, but instead of it being between characters who know each other, it's between characters who have never met, thus making it almost impossible for them to be together canonically. The most common form of crack shipping is crossover shipping. Remember, all crossover ships are crack ships, but not all crack ships are crossover ships. Because I shipped Penny and Natalie from Miraculous Ladybug together platonically and romantically, but guess what? These two bitches never interacted with each other in the show. Is this crack? Yes. Is it crossover? No. All crossover ships are technically crap ships because they obscure relating to the fact that it's two completely different universes, no matter how much it makes sense for the two characters to be with each other. Penny and Natalie would make a great pairing as girlfriends, wives, or just simply friends. But because they don't interact with each other in the show, never even had the same scene together, it's still crack. Now, before we can get fully into crossover ships, we need to know what a crossover is. So what's a crossover? A crossover is a placement of two or more otherwise discrete fictional characters, settings, or universe into the context of a single story. Nowadays, when people see fans crossover media, they think it's strange when it isn't. We have seen this done numerous times before. There's an entire episode of Scooby-Doo where they met the Addams Family, and also Courage the Cowardly Dog and Scooby-Doo put out a movie together in 2021. In the 2000s, the Cartoon Network setting existed, where it was basically all the Cartoon Network characters. They lived in the same city together, and we would see them catching the train with one another, going to the laundromat, going to the movies together, and even going to work with each other sometimes.
Ooh, nice ride.
Thanks.
What do you think of my van? I call it my mystery machine. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, customizer myself. Wall-to-wall shank, 4 speakers, the works.
The works, huh? You're my kind of guy.
Hey, what do you got there, V8?
V8000.
Then go in.
My friends told me to meet him here, but the previews are starting.
So,
They won't know I'm here.
We'll tell them.
You sure?
Yeah, we're just waiting for a
Windfall?
bus.
I thought we were. Oh.
Thanks.
Follow me.
Your tickets?
Oh, we don't need tickets. We're Mac's imaginary friends.
You're imaginary.
Come on, hurry. It's cool, we got it. Oh, man. Should have taken the express train.
The way it works is, you buy a ticket.
This was really fun. It's Eddie's turn now. Hello? How many more times can I say hello? What's that? Oh, Hank! Will you please keep quiet?
And honestly, I wish we still had stuff like this. The closest thing we have to this now is Disney's Chibi Tales, which I enjoy, by the way. And speaking of Disney, this isn't the first time that company has crossed over events. If anything, they are known for doing them for profit. You go to the Disney parks, the characters from different movies interact with each other. Disney has an entire series called House of Mouse where all the characters go to singy eaty time together. Oh, and remember when Disney used to make a big deal when they have their crossover events? This is not as weird as y'all think it is because we don't see this as much as we used to. Therefore, it causes confusion. Often, what fandoms do is a reflection of what the entertainment industry already does. They saw them make crossover movies and episodes, so they, the fans, decided to do it. Crossovers will always equate to crack, whether people want to admit it or not. The professional entertainment industry has done this before, numerous times to be exact. But for the sake of this video, we will only be talking about crossover ships when it comes to crack shipping because everything else we discuss applies to just that. Often in these crossover events, some characters will have crushes on one another and will become romantically involved with one another. The Jimmy Timmy Power Hour is a crossover that in fact did this shit. Jimmy Timmy Power Hour was a crossover event put on by Nickelodeon that combined the worlds of the Fairly OddParents and Jimmy Neutron together. They are two completely different universes, literally down to the art style. And in this, we actually see them going into each other's universes. It's actually very creative. And during all of this, Timmy from the Fairly OddParents and Cindy from Jimmy Neutron have crushes on each other. Timmy and Cindy are a crack ship. A crack ship that was on TV. This is not as obscure as people make it out to be. Now, let's explain 3 notorious fandom crack events from back in the day, years ago, and recently. Starting first with the mother of the entire thing, Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons.
Come on, boys, get loud. When the music starts bumping, the whole place will be jumping. It's my scene, you know what?
Hey y'all, it's Ariana. I'm back with another video. Hi, hello, how are you doing? My name is Ariana. Welcome back to the pirate ship, also known as Harry Hook's pirate ship. I am the captain. You are not my first mate, and I got no first mate because you want to know why. Bring your ear closer to the speaker so you can hear me clearly. Nobody's worthy of being the first babe. But hi, hello, how are you doing? My name is Ariana, and I like to make content based on nostalgia and family and children's entertainment and all the issues that I find within those spaces. I have not been on camera in a hot ass minute. It's been like almost a month since I made my last on-camera video, and it feels great to be back. I missed y'all. Did y'all miss me? I hope you did. But today we are about to talk more about crossovers and crack shipping. This is a video that I actually had intended to come out in the beginning of the year, but it kept getting delayed, and everything happens for a reason. So all that matters is that we are here now. We are going to start off talking about Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons, as I mentioned in the introduction. But before we go into detail about the mother of fandom crossovers, I do want to mention some honorable mentions. So here are the ones that I don't have the time to speak about it because this video is already long enough, but here are some ones that I think are worth mentioning. The Miraculous Spider-Man crossover, the Winx and Yu-Gi-Oh crossover, to no one's surprise, the Star Trek and Star Wars crossover. The last but not least, and it perfectly goes into what we're about to talk about, is the Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons Go to Hogwarts special thing that everybody liked to do back in the day. But we are about to talk about what Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons is. Now, I feel like it is not necessary for me to go in a whole bunch of detail about Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons because Izzy's posted a really good and in-depth video about it all. Highly recommend their channel. I actually really love them. So go check out their video. I have it linked down below. You've probably seen it because it has 1 million views. But Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons was a fandom crossover that really started in the early 2010s, and it did continue into the mid and late 2010s, but it had a big shift in the mid and late 2020s because of another little movie that ended up coming out later on that kind of fucked up the whole thing. A lot of people told me that they didn't like it when Frozen got added to the mix, and I'm not even gonna lie, when Frozen got added to the mix, it felt like something completely different. So Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons is a combination of 4 movies, and it's not really like a combination of the movies, it's just they took characters from these universes and put them all into one. That's often what a crossover is half the time, because a lot of these people, they do not be giving a fuck about the actual world that these people come from. They just like them as people, and you're like, you know what, we're gonna put y'all in a universe together. So Rise comes from Rise of the Guardians. The character that was pulled from is Jack Frost. Brave is Merida, Disney princess, by the way. Brave, Tangled is Rapunzel, and then Dragons, and that is Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon. Out of all of these movies, I have only seen 3 of them, that being Brave, Tangled, and How to Train Your Dragon, and there's really only 1 movie out of the 4 of these that I actually still really enjoy to this day, and that's How to Train Your Dragon. I'm kind of over Tangled, and I think Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons has a lot to do with that because that was something that was like a big staple of me growing up in the 2010s, and I was obsessed with Rapunzel. I wanted to be her, but now I look back and I rewatch the movie and I low-key can't stand it. I'm not the biggest fan of Flynn Rider. I don't really like all the music all that much. I don't know. I'm just not all that interested in Tangled anymore, especially when it was brought to my knowledge how the movie has like a lot of anti-Semitic undertones. Speaking of that, with these 4 movies, the main reason why they ended up picking these 4 characters to begin with, mind you that this is all assumption, and this is also some of what I picked up from Izzy's video about it. All of these characters are in the same age range. They're not necessarily around people their own age. So they're like, you know what? Why don't we take you 4? You people that seem as if you guys will be popular, but you're not. Because mind you, somebody has said something about like, why do y'all think Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons ended up becoming like a big thing and why it became so popular? And I was like, because it was about white kids. It most definitely was. A lot of people saw Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons to be similar to a lot of series that were like teen shows, but were about like, you know, them going through it and all that. Kind of like Degrassi. I'm trying to think of another one of them teen shows where like a whole bunch of the cast members was white. Like 90210. I remembered when people used to write Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons and a lot of the fan art, they would make them like wealthy rich kids. That actually was my kind of favorite storytelling when it came to these kind of stories. But often, like Rise of Prey Dragons, it was very much given the Brat Pack. And if you're familiar with what the Brat Pack is, Brat Pack basically was a group of white young actors that worked in Hollywood, and they often star in the same movies together, specifically John Hughes films. You guys may be familiar with them from Pretty in Pink, which is one of my top 3 favorite movies ever. The Breakfast Club is another one that y'all are familiar with when it comes to those. But Rise of the Red Tangled Dragon, they were the Brat Pack of animation. And there was very little diversity in it, because I remember when they would try to add other characters within Rise of the Brand Tangled Dragons, that being characters of color, they often just got pushed aside or were just a bit of an afterthought. But mind you, when you look at Rise of the Brand Tangled Dragons anyway, the movies that these characters are pulled from, they're just all white people. From what I remember. I don't know, was there any people of color in How to Train Your Dragon? I don't remember any. And yeah, it's like your typical, you know, teen show protagonist type thing that was going on there. That is the main reason why it was super duper popular. I wouldn't necessarily say that I was really into the Rise of the Red Tangled Dragons fandom growing up, but they were like inescapable. Everywhere you go, they were like somewhere around. And there were so many different AUs that they used to write with Rise of the Red Tangled Dragons, because sometimes they'll put them in the Brave universe, sometimes they'll put them in the Tangled universe, sometimes they'll put them in the How to Train Your Dragon universe. Nobody was rarely ever in the Rise of the Guardians universe, because nobody ever fuck about that movie. And by the way, I don't want y'all thinking that I am just dragging Rise of the Guardians so bad. I just never seen the movie. I never cared to see this movie, but most of the time when I see people still talk about this film, they're just talking about Jack Frost bitch ass. And I heard he was a dickhead in that movie. That's why I called him that. But basically, it has been done, all of them. They have their homecoming stories, they have their prom stories, their homecoming fan art, their prom fan art, football games, cheerleading team, all of that. Pretty much any cliche typical story that you can read in a book or you'll see on the fucking CW or MTV, it was very much done with Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons. And also, I have mentioned an honorable mention before. The main reason why is because I don't fucking like J.K. Rowling. If you know that, trans rights over here. I don't do that transphobic bullshit at all. But it was a really big thing where a lot of people like to take Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons and they would take these characters and they will put them in Hogwarts. Mind you, I know very little about Harry Potter. Right when I was about to get up and pick up the books and read them, that's when I ended up finding out about all that, and I was like, yeah, no. But for the most part, I didn't necessarily want to spend too much time explaining Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons, mainly because there's just so many in-depth videos already on this platform that are about it, and I feel like they can just go into more detail about it over there. I didn't want to feel like I was repeating talking points. I just wanted to talk about what I thought of it and how I understand why it has such a big cultural impact. It has such a big cultural impact because anytime you mention anything about crack shipping, they come back up. They absolutely come up, because last summer when people were doing the Spider-Man Miraculous crossover, people kept mentioning Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons. Anytime there is some type of fandom crossover, and it's not even just a fandom crossover, but the professional film industry does crossovers too just as well, people stay bringing up Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons. That is how iconic it is. And I find it hard to believe that people that work at Disney and Nickelodeon and DreamWorks and all of these studios and these companies, I find it so hard to believe that they are not aware of this stuff. Because somebody has said, do y'all think Gege is aware of the Disney Jujutsu Kaisen crossover? And I was like, they have to be at this point. They kind of have to be. And if it's not the Disney Jujutsu Kaisen crossover, they gotta be aware of some of the other crossovers that was done with JJK. Because how are y'all not aware of this? And I feel like this has a lot to do with why Disney Channel ended up playing into a lot of these crossover events, because Disney Channel was known for doing crack stuff all the time. Because even in those Disney crossover specials, they would have stuff where the characters would interact with each other and whatnot and like form friendships and stuff like that. And it was actually really super cute. But moving forward, that is enough about Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons. Now let's move on into the miraculous DC comics, because this one is, you know, it's a little bit more complex, because with Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons, I don't necessarily think there was a story that went on. They just took the characters and threw them whatever. But the Miraculous Batman DC family crossover thing, it actually started because of something that happened within the series. Hey guys, it's Harry. I wanted to take a quick break from today's video and tell you guys about the new things that I have coming for my shop. For those of you guys who don't know, I do have a shop where I sell things inspired by pretty much the things I like in pop culture. I sell bonnets, t-shirts, lip glosses, all of that good stuff. Let me show you guys some of what I got, including I may or may not be a Choso simp. If you're familiar with my content, you already know that I made quite a few videos in the past, like full videos dedicated to this one show specifically here called Miraculous Ladybug. And also a lot of you guys know that I really do enjoy DC, more so for the characters than the actual story. I have been reading a lot more of like the Catwoman books. I even posted a video talking about one of the Catwoman graphic novels called Catwoman Under the Moon, written by Lauren Miracle. I will have that link down below, because also in that video I not just talk about Catwoman in the comics, I also talk a bit about Halle Berry's portrayal of Catwoman too. Now, what exactly is the Miraculous DC crossover? Okay, first of all, often when Miraculous Ladybug is crossed over with other stuff, it's usually just its two main characters and like nobody else. They often don't really cross over anybody else with them. That's part of the reason why I just kind of get a little bit bored when it comes to these Miraculous crossover with other things, because I'm just kind of tired of Marinette and Adrien, both of them, and I like both of their characters. Marinette actually is one of my favorites in the show, but I just kind of don't, I'm bored of them. I've been watching Miraculous Ladybug since I was in high school, and I used to be a hardcore shipper of adrienette, but I just got tired of it. You know how you just engage with something too much to the point where you don't like it no more, or don't like it that much anymore? Yeah, I just got tired of the will they won't they type storyline that they did with Marinette and Adrien and their relationship, along with their superhero counterparts too. I was just over it, tired. And I see the main reason why so many of these crossover events happen is because other people are tired of it too. They're sick of it. Now, there was one character in particular that sparked this problem that a lot of people were starting to have with Miraculous Ladybug, and it has to do with the character named Lila. I fucking hate Lila. Fuck that bitch forever. Like, I don't like her. Y'all, how old is Lila? Like, how old is that girl? But anyways, basically a lot of people were getting irritated with how Adrien was treating Marinette when it came to Lila, because a lot of people in that class were falling for her lies, including him. But it just kind of has a lot to do with the fact that the show just doesn't really write Marinette's and Adrien's relationship pretty well. Because I know they do officially get together in season 5. Mind you, that's like 100 fucking episodes in. This is the worst slow burn ever, because anytime it feels like we had progress made with Marinette and Adrien's relationship, we ended up going 3 steps back, or the next episode kind of like erase what happened in the last one. Continuity is a big problem with this series, all right? Okay. But Lila was a key component as to why so many people were just getting tired of the Marinette and Adrien will they won't they thing, especially with the way Adrien was acting. There are so many problems that I have with just the way everybody in this show was written, especially when it comes to like inconsistency, because we are told from the jump that Marinette and Adrien are like soulmates. They're supposed to be together, but like the show just do not do a good job of showing their chemistry. They have more chemistry together as fucking Mary Cat. They have more chemistry together as Ladrien, and that is when Marinette is in disguise as Ladybug and Adrien is himself, and then Mary Cat is when Marinette is herself and Adrien is in disguise, or when they're both as their superhero counterparts. It's so fucking annoying, but when they're actual people, it's just like, come on, I'm tired. So because of a lot of this irritating bullshit with the writing, like I said, it's giving Sam Levinson. Thomas Ashbrook is the French Sam Levinson. People started to ship Marinette with another guy her age, and that ended up being Damian Wayne, who is the son of Batman and Talia al Ghul. I love Talia, I adore her, and when we are talking about the biracial crack ship, it is Marinette and it is Damien. When it comes to the entire like Batman saga, I really just be invested with Bruce Wayne and his bitch ass because listen, I love Bruce Wayne, but I like to bully him too just as well. People really just started shipping Marinette with Damian Wayne because mind you, like we don't know anything about their interactions because they never ever fucking met because they're from two different universes. And when you have two characters from two different universes, you kind of have free will on what you can do with them. So everyone's like, yeah, these two are from two universes. We have not seen any material with them actually being around each other opposed to Marinette and Adrian. So one day people were like, you know what? Why don't we just ship her with Damien? It might work. It may not. They're both superheroes. It may work. And that's the thing that I have noticed about like a lot of people. They would just simply ship two characters together because they are both superheroes. Because I know that it's not just Marinette that is, you know, often shipped with Damien. I know they do ship Adrian with some other characters that are in the DC universe that are his age. I'm pretty sure somebody shipped Adrian with Damien too at some point. I wouldn't be surprised. What kind of irritates me the most though when it comes to the miraculous Batman crossovers, because usually it just involves Marinette and Adrian and sometimes Lila. Even though Miraculous Ladybug does a really bad job of writing its characters, can we give the other characters like some better storyline too? Like, can they cross over with the DC characters too just as well? Can we please do this? Because I ended up finding out that Mary Bat is actually very popular. Is it called Mary Bat? Because I found out her and Damien's ship name is actually something else. It's not that, but that's what they call this entire universe. Y'all, I had no idea that this shit was that popular. Because I remember that I would used to see Marinette and Damien stuff all the time when I would just be randomly going through stuff and looking through fan art and whatnot. But like, it has an entire community like dedicated to it. You know how Rise of the Red Tangled Dragons had its own community dedicated to it? Yeah. Marinette and Damien have an entire community. But like I mentioned, it's usually just Marinette and Damien. And I was like, can we bring some of the other characters over too? Because Miraculous don't do them justice. Like, yeah, let's put them with some other people. And that's one thing that kind of frustrates me the most when it comes to just any Miraculous crossover. I probably mentioned this already, but it's just those two and then sometimes Lila, sometimes Chloe. Buki, can we bring more people over? One of those people I wish I would have brought over with the Miraculous DC crossover was Natalie. Homegirl Natalie, literally the black Natalie Stanker right here. Why didn't y'all put her in there? Because guess what? I think she's very compatible with Bruce Wayne. Y'all don't hear that from me. If you guys are familiar with my channel, when I made the video where people were talking about how they were shipping Princess Tiana with anime men, and I just started pulling like shit out of my ass of random crack ships on just who did I think might be compatible or who may not, I said Natalie and Bruce Wayne as like a joke, and I was like, wait a damn minute. That actually works because guess what? Bruce Wayne is just a smarter, hotter version of Gabriel Grace. That's her type. Natalie has a type. She likes men with issues. Men that are very much emotionally and mentally unstable. Bruce Wayne would love him some Natalie, just like how I love me some Natalie. It would work. Do you guys see the vision? Like, there are so much other stuff that y'all can do with other DC characters. With the Miraculous characters. Like, come on, please. We can do more than just this. I'm tired. Can we move forward? We gotta go. We gotta do something new, please. I don't know. Miraculous Ladybug just irritates me so much now to the point where I just did not like what was done with Natalie's character overall. And that's the reason why I started shipping her more so with Bruce, because my favorite part of Miraculous Ladybug was the relationship between Gabriel and Natalie, and we saw that it was very much complex, but there was a lot of love that was still there. But the way they ended up writing them later on through the series, I was not a big fan of it, especially with the way things ended up going for Gabriel. I didn't like it. It just was very much icky to me. And then also, I never liked Gabriel's bitch ass wife anyway. The only person I really like, the only other person in Miraculous that I really wanted Natalie had to be with was Penny. And we're never really gonna get a Penny and Natalie interaction. That's something that I always wish this show would give us. They never did. We had the little breadcrumbs when she interacted with Vincent. Damn, I forgot. I used to talk about how much I would want Natalie and Vincent to be together. I'm telling you, struggling over there. Struggling over there because of how poorly written that show was. But Natalie and Bruce Wayne, that is a good agenda right there. But it seems like nobody really thought about it because, yeah, Miraculous crossovers are something that just kind of annoy me, but the biggest one I'd say out of all of these would have to be the crossover with Marinette and Damien. be boyfriend and girlfriend. And I know there was another one that was pretty big because I know a lot of people like to ship Marinette with either Deku or Bakugo from My Hero Academia. Okay, I get Deku and Marinette because they are very similar in ways, but like, would Bakugo and her just be enemies to lovers? Honestly, Bakugo would be a little bit more compatible with Alia. They'd never be bringing her black ass anywhere over here when they be coming to crack ships, okay? It honestly doesn't necessarily surprise me that My Hero Academia did get involved with with Miraculous Ladybug, because My Hero Academia tends to get involved with a lot of other shit. Because the next thing that we're going to talk about later, which is the Disney Jujutsu Princesses, because that's just what I call it at this point, the Jujutsu Princesses, it's too much to say all of that shit. All of these other crossover events be having names, I'm giving that one. It's the Jujutsu Princesses. Bakugo is over there too, because apparently he is Sukuna and Cinderella's son. Y'all, and it's one thing that's super funny when it comes to both Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons and the Miraculous DC comic crossover, because we are going to get into this because it did start with like one person, but a lot of these communities were really just started by a small group of people that just like wanted to, you know, tell more of these stories. Because if you look at Brave, Rise of the Guardians, Tangled, and How to Train Your Dragon, at the time there was only one How to Train Your Dragon film out. Tangled the series wasn't out, and Rise of the Guardians ain't getting shit else, okay? And Brave, Disney does still do that stuff with Meredith's character, but at that time period, and they later on, there was really only one piece of like material for all of those projects, and people just wanted to tell more of that story with those said characters. Now, Miraculous and Batman, on the other hand, a lot of people are really irritated with the writing for both of those things. And I'm, like I said, I am a DC Comics fan. I am also a Miraculous fan, unfortunately. Both of the writing in those aspects do need some work. And a lot of people have combined those things together to try to give these things, like, you know, a better story. So Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons was really more so to give these characters more of a story. And over here was just kind of like a remix. Let's actually fix what they fucked up over there. Now, the next one that we're about to get into, the most recent, well-known one, I would say. Ooh. And last but not least, we have the Jujutsu Princesses. I started calling it the Jujutsu Princesses. That is the term that I have coined because it's just too much to say the Disney Jujutsu Kaisen crossover. So you know what? It's the Jujutsu Princesses. One day, there was a user on TikTok that randomly started pairing together characters from Jujutsu Kaisen with characters from the Disney, like Walt Disney animated films, and it wasn't even with Jujutsu Kaisen because of the stuff that this person had started with them shipping them with the Disney characters, more so the characters that are princesses or princess adjacent. They also started shipping like the Disney characters with like other anime characters too, just as well, because I remember y'all ended up shipping Tiana with like some of the men in One Piece. I remember that when that happened. Now, I talked about like the Jujutsu Princesses really came about because there was just something that was about to happen within the JJK verse that really was upsetting for a lot of people. So they was like, you know what, let's just start something silly and something funny and let's make the most of it. And it has, like, you know, made some of the crackiest crack ships that I have seen in a hot ass minute. Mind you, some of these ships I don't like. I'm not gonna mention the ones that I don't like. No. What y'all did with Nobara? Absolutely not. No. I liked how people were shipping Nobara with like Belle though. I really liked that one. Why didn't we run those up? And one thing I noticed when it came to the Jujutsu Princesses, where the gay stuff? Because the gay ships did not get that much attention. Because one of my favorites from this that actually makes a lot of sense would have to be Maki and Mulan. I'm like, y'all, why can't we do more with that? But you know what? Anyway, there's actually 3 ships with the Jujutsu Princesses that we are constantly seeing the most. The first one being Sukuna and Cinderella. I don't get this one completely. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people really enjoy this. There is actually an artist on this platform that I really like. Her name is Pichu Dumplings. She makes some very beautifully drawn Sukuna and Cinderella art. Their ship name is Sukunella. I will have her channel linked down below if you guys would like to check it out and see it for yourself. But like the community that surrounds Sukuna, it's like a big dedicated one. They have like a dedicated fan base. And I'm like, you know what? Okay. Sukuna is something that I just kind of confuses me because like Sukuna is just, first of all, he's not a person. He's a curse. He's the king of curses. That's what everyone calls him. He's a very like awful ass being. Like I don't like Sukuna. I have not liked him since what he did to them twins. Okay, I find him annoying, I find him irritating, but a lot of people have this I can fix him mindset when it comes to Cinderella in him. Mind you, I don't think you can fix a man unless he wants to change for himself, for the betterment of himself. But like Sukuna, I remember I was talking to like some of my mutuals and I said something about like, can we fix Sukuna? Do y'all really think Cinderella can fix that man? And they were like, honestly, we could sit here and say that like another character, Ghetto, is who we were talking about in Jujutsu Kaisen. We were like, he a little too far gone. But Sukuna was never there. Like he was always terrible from the jump. And I know there are issues that have gone on with Sukuna and his family. And there are problems that have gone on with Cinderella and her family too. I think that's the main reason why so many people really like them together, because they both kind of have like a fucked up home life. I guess. I don't know. Y'all was not happy with me when y'all saw how low I ranked Sukuna and Cinderella on my list. I couldn't, I don't know. I just can't get with this one right here. Supported, like the people that enjoy Sukuna, I'm gonna sit here and laugh and kiki because guess what? They have a child together now and it's Bakugo from, you know, My Hero Academia. Yeah, that's another thing with the Jujutsu princesses. People try to make a storyline with all of this because at some point Sukuna and Cinderella broke up. Like, and then everybody made a big deal about it, and then they got back together, and then like he kidnaps Cinderella every 3 to 5 business days. It's a very toxic ghetto ass relationship. Y'all ain't never watched Sex and the City and you just constantly wanted to watch Sex and the City just to see what the characters got into, like the mess they got into. That is like the same energy I'm getting with Sukuna and Cinderella. It's just the toxicity over here that just be eating y'all. And y'all be here for it. I mean, I get it. I love my like toxic share of like toxic ass books and relationships and shit like that. But like, okay y'all, I'm gonna let y'all have that one. That's y'all. Like I say, I don't judge ships. Like if the ship is legal, go have fun. Y'all have fun with Sukuna and Cinderella. Now the next ship in here, one that I actually really did enjoy, like the big 3 of the Jujutsu princesses, it is Gojo and Elsa. Now we have to go back to Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons. Mind you, I never was a Jelsa shipper from back in the day. Mind you, Gojo and Elsa's ship name is Jelsa. So like, it's Jelsa with a G and it was Jelsa with a J over there. Sarcastic Chorus actually made a great video going into detail about the Jack Frost and Elsa ship. I will have that link down below. But I was never a fan of Jack Frost and Elsa, basically because how old was he? Like how old was he? I had no idea. I went and asked my Discord server. I was like, how old was Jack Frost? And they were like, you know what? We don't know. I'm like, no. I don't know. I was just never a fan of Elsa and Jack Frost, and I think it has to do with the fact that when I was younger, I did not like Elsa's character. I didn't start to like Elsa until an adult, and that had a lot to do with the fact that I could see a lot of myself in her character. But I just didn't care for the Jack and Frost and Elsa shit in the past. But I really do like the idea of her and Gojo being together. I can't see her and Gojo being like in a serious long-term relationship or anything like that. But like that's like her little friend, you know, like the in-between where it's like you're not friends but you're not fully in a relationship. That's them two. I see that with them because Gojo is somebody that I feel like if he wants to commit to you, he will. If he wants to commit to Elsa, he will. But like so many people in this universe with the Jujutsu princesses, they like to write like Gojo off as like a playboy and like a cheater or whatnot. And mind you, this is something that I found out have been going on for years with the way a lot of people like to write Gojo's character. They like to write him as like a playboy type and like a cheater type, which I can see because he does have like a very playful nature about him. He be getting on my damn nerves sometimes when I'm watching and reading the manga because it feels like he never takes anything seriously at times. But a lot of people are talking about how they feel like Gojo and Elsa aren't compatible with each other. And I was like, I think they kind of would work, mainly because I think Gojo does need to be with somebody that is a bit more serious. And I think Elsa also does need to be with somebody that needs to be a little bit more fun. I don't know. I really like this one. It was really cute to me. I'm sorry. I really did like Gojo and Elsa. Hi, editing me right now. I'm actually talking to my friend Emma. Y'all might know her as Ella Pastoral here on YouTube. She actually made her own video about the Jujutsu princesses, and I actually used it as a reference for me making mine because I needed to like refresh my memory on certain things that happened with it. And I'm talking to her about how like Elsa and Gojo. And I'm like, nah, I get it. I have a heart. I get it. And I'm like showing her like these cosplayers content that they made for Gojo and Elsa, and I'm like laughing my ass off right now, and I'm gonna show y'all some of it, maybe because I'm gonna have the music edited out because, you know, YouTube copyright bullshit. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy what y'all about to see. Like, one of my friends, Scale, I was talking to her about it, and I was like, I feel like me and you really like the only people that really like Gojo and Elsa like that, because I think it's cute. I know my friend Nova, y'all may have watched some of their videos before, but I know that he really likes Gojo and Elsa too, just as well. It doesn't necessarily have such of a big community as like Sukuna and Cinderella, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that a lot of people just like would rather ship Gojo with like an OC, because Gojo, listen, I saw like a meme where people were talking about Jogo from Jujutsu Kaisen, talking about how it's always him when it comes to like him being like around like the men that everybody in Jujutsu Kaisen likes. But like, it's always Elsa, because back in the day they used to be shipping Elsa with everybody. They used to be shipping her with everybody man and everybody woman. Yeah, Gojo was kind of like that too. It's always Elsa. So a lot of people were not happy to see that Elsa ended up getting Gojo. I'm like, yeah, that's her man. I'm sorry. I support it. I like Gojo and Elsa. I'm sorry. I think it's cute. I like it. I don't know, it works for me. I really do like a lot of opposites attract type stories, because a lot of people were saying Sukuna and Cinderella were like an opposites attract type thing, and I'm like, okay, I get it, but like, why every time I see y'all do Sukuna and Cinderella with each other, with the exception of like Pichu dumplings, why is it like she always look like she in danger when she with this man? Like, Gojo and Elsa is cute. I don't care. I like Gojo and Elsa. I don't care. I don't care. I like Gojo and Elsa. I don't give a fuck. Fuck y'all. If you don't like it, I don't care. I'm sold on that one. That one has me sold. I was so mad when somebody had said that Gojo cheated on Elsa. I was like, shut up, no. And the last of like the big three when it comes to the Jujutsu princesses would have to be a lot of people's favorites. And this one was my favorite until another one that I found out was in this mix with Tiana and Nanami. Now, everyone says that this is the most wholesome of them, and opposed to, you know, Gojo and Elsa where it's like an opposites attract type thing. With Nanami, his first name is actually Kento. You know, Gojo's first name is Satoru, but you know, it's more common to call them by their last name because that's usually what the show refers them to. I don't know. I always call Nanami Kento for some reason. I don't know. Because I'm special. Nanami love me. Nah, me and Maya be talking about how we love that man too much. But Nanami and Tiana is a lot of people's like favorites of the mix, and people say that is the only one that makes sense.
Final countdown, getting ready now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gotta look hotter than hot, hot. Get dressed up to rock. No time to stop. Ready or not, gotta look hotter than hot.
And I understand why they say that, because with Gojo and Elsa, I said it was like opposites attract. But Tiana and Nanami, these are two characters that are actually very similar to one another, as they both work too damn much. They both always stress the fuck out. They both need a vacation. And I think they're both very sweet people. A lot of people don't read Nanami to be sweet, but I think he is. Like, he's like stern and you're not gonna fucking play in his face. Like, he's not the one, but like, I think he is a very caring person. That's why in that scene when he yanked that bitch hair back, that's why everybody was here for it. And Tiana is somebody that I don't understand how people could hate her. I'm sorry, I love Tiana. I adored her so much when I was younger. I still adore her now, okay? Like, I love her. I see so much of myself in her, and a lot of other black women see so much of themselves in Tiana too, just as well. This was a lot of people's favorite, mainly because it wasn't kind of ghetto like Sukuna and Cinderella and Gojo and Elsa. This one was just wholesome. There was like no mess that went on with this one. Everyone just like, you know what? This is actually a cute, healthy ship. They actually compatible. I think they will get along well. Yeah. But I'm sorry, I'm gonna need somebody to write my Gojo and Elsa soccer college AU shit where she's the captain of the female soccer team and he's the captain of the male soccer team and they butt heads with each other and it's like enemies to lovers. I'm sorry. I need my toxic Josa shit over there, okay? Gojo and Elsa, somebody, please. I'm here for that idea. But yeah, you're not gonna get this type of shit over there with Tiana and Nanami, but okay, like those are like the main three with the Jujutsu princesses, and there were many others that I did really like that didn't necessarily get a lot of attention. I really like Maki and Mulan. Maki and Mulan is from Mulan, and then you know Maki Zenin. They remind me a bit of each other with both of their families being hard on them, except Mulan's family actually loved her and Maki's family are fucking bitches. I hate the Zenins. And you guys seen my other videos before in the past where I have talked about Toji. I don't like their family, but Maki and Mulan is something I think is super duper cute. I wish there would be more for it, but I realized that there isn't really more stuff for Maki and Mulan. It's because a lot of people don't know that this one existed, because when the person ended up making all of the Disney Jujutsu Kaisen ship, the main three that people saw, mainly because these were the first three and they were the ones that popped up. I know they ended up shipping Yuji with some other people. I really like, somebody had put Yuji with Moana and I really like that one. I really did like that one. I wish I could have saw more of that. But Maki and Mulan, it's just like, yeah, it makes sense when you think about it and when you look at it. Another one I'd say that I really liked that didn't really get that much attention would have to be Megami and Ariel. Part of the reason a lot of people just ship Megami and Ariel together is because Megami kind of looks like Prince Eric. Like, I get it. Like, they said that Megami looks a lot like Prince Eric, I'd say. It's kind of like an opposites attract thing, I'd say just as well. Megami is just done with fucking life and Ariel wants to explore the world and know more. I don't know, I think it's adorable. It's not like ghetto toxic over there like Jelsa and Sukuna and Cinderella, but Megami and Ariel is very adorable. It's giving very much puppy love. So I really like that one right there. Make more. Make some stuff with that. Now, my favorite of the Jujutsu princesses, if you've been following me, you know exactly which one this is, and it would have to be the ship between Toji and Megara. Now, first of all, I blame the first ship that was made for Toji as to why so many people don't know this one existed, because I mentioned something to someone about it and they were like, wait, I thought Toji was shipped with Buzz Lightyear. And I was like, that was a thing. But basically, because I told you people tried to make a story with the Jujutsu princesses. Also, they shipped Ghetto with Tinkerbell, and I was just like, which Tinkerbell we're using? Are we using Tinkerbell from the Peter Pan movie from the 50s? Like, I hope we're using that one. And then apparently, like, Gojo ate Tinkerbell. Let me tell you, the storyline that was actually made, the Jujutsu princesses, was a hot ass mess. That's why so many people just kind of redid it. But the storyline here was that Toji was with Buzz Lightyear, and then he cheated on Buzz Lightyear with Megara, and someone was like, you know what? Him and Megara actually work. They're similar in personality. And I was like, why did I have to see this ship? Why did I keep looking at the Jujutsu princesses? Because I ended up seeing this ship and literally it did everything for me. I'm sorry, no, it works. The right amount of wholesome, the right amount of ghetto kind of toxicity. I'm sorry, I'm here for it. This is the kind of couples that I like to read about in my josei mangas. The Toji and the Megaras. I'm sorry. It eats. It's my favorite by far. I kind of hate the fact that it is written off about how he cheated on someone else to be with Megara. But, no. And there's also Yuta and Belle, because I know a lot of people ship Nobara with Belle, and I thought that one was really cute. But Yuta and Belle, that's adorable. That is super duper adorable. Like, they're both super duper sweet. They kind of scared of everything. They all both be crying all the damn time. Yuta and Belle works. That's adorable. And I know Toge was shipped with like Snow White. Anyways. But moving back to Toji and Megara, this is actually my favorite, and I kind of hate that it's my favorite because it is one of the most less known ones. Like, a lot of people just don't know about it, mainly because they saw Toji and Buzz Lightyear and they were like, no, and then they just went out, which I get. I understand that completely. But Toji and Megara, you both have two kind of dry ass humor type people, both kind of irritated with fucking life, and they both just want better for themselves and others. Someone actually had said, like in the comments of one of like a TikTok that was about Toji and Megara, and somebody was like, they actually work because their personalities are similar to one another. Like, one thing I really like about Toji and Megara is that they're both very, like, direct people. Like, they're gonna tell it to you like it is and exactly how they feel. But also, they have been in past relationships before that didn't end well, with, you know, Toji's wife passing away, and then whatever the fuck happened with Tsumiki's mother, and then Megara and that man, and he ended up leaving her, and then also that weird shit when she was living in Hades' house. Both were going through it, okay? Both were going through it. And I kind of hate when a lot of people talk about how two very broken people cannot be together. And I was like, I feel like they can if they both want better for one another. Why the fuck am I taking this shit seriously? It ain't real. They ain't never met. Well, they met to me in my brain. But that one ended up becoming my favorite because I just sat there and gave it some thought and thinking about everything that Toji had went through in the series up until, like, you know, like where his wife died, and then he started acting like that. Listen, I wrote a piece about Toji on my blog, and I will have that link down below just as well, but I said so much of my sympathy and empathy start to change for Toji once he started, like, you know, acting a damn fool after the death of Megami's mother. Like, I have my opinions about him, but I like to think about what Toji could have been like before, because we saw that he did change. And I feel like if he were with a woman that did, you know, call him out on his bullshit, but also helped him become better, yeah, things would have been alright for him. And I was like, Meg, she kind of seems like his type. You know how JJK, they always be asking people what their type is? That's his type. I'm sorry. Meg is his type. And I'm talking about, like, type personality wise, because she is somebody that I think would, like, check him on his shit. I don't know, she seems like the type of person to do that because she's done it before in the film. I'm not the biggest fan of the Hercules movie that much anymore now that I have gotten older, but Meg was my favorite part of it. And when I recently rewatched it and was confused as fuck as to why Toji didn't show up, yeah, she still was my favorite part. And I was like, yeah, the man that paired her up with in that movie was kind of boring. No. Oh shit. Here we go. Around the time when crack shipping became more known in 2023 during the summer and carrying over until now, there were plenty of disturbing things going on in the world. The Disney Jujutsu Kaisen crossover came about because the show was about to start airing the episodes for an arc called the Shibuya Incident. Without giving away too much information about the series, in the Shibuya Incident, half the cast is K-worded, the other half is left beat the fuck up, and then the other half is just traumatized. While Jujutsu Kaisen isn't real, engaging with media that has dark elements in it can be taxing on the person who is looking at it. Also, the Shibuya Incident is very disturbing, especially because if you are familiar with Jujutsu Kaisen, its fans often have favorites when it comes to the series. I personally do just as well. On top of the fact that if you've been keeping up with the manga, there's just been some questionable decisions that have been made. And at this point, Jujutsu Kaisen feels more like a pop culture meme now opposed to a show and book series. It's like how at some point Frozen stopped feeling like a movie because of the public's response to it, especially how it got thrown into Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons. 2023 was a draining year for many, and sadly a lot of people did not live to see 2024 because all that happened in it. Let's go through some of the current events that happened in 2023, starting with Corona still existing. If you've been watching the news recently, you may have seen that May 11, 2023 was an important day. That was the day United States President Joe Biden formally declared both public health emergency and national state of emergency for COVID-19 over. Does that mean the pandemic is finally gone? Should we be celebrating? Unfortunately, no. The COVID-19 pandemic isn't going anywhere. What's changing in the US government's approach, which means prevention, care, and treatment about to become more expensive in America. According to the WHO's COVID tracker, the week of May 1st, 2023 saw health authorities around report over 500,000 cases of SARS-CoV-2. The tracker stopped updating after WHO suspended the designation. Over 500,000 cases is a huge step down from the virus peak, when the numbers of people reporting sick a week were nearly 45 million. But still, it's not a small number by any means, especially when you consider the global decline is reported. Take the United States as an example. After the state of emergency was suspended on May 11, 2023, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention stated that it would no longer report aggravated cases and deaths, along with several other important metrics for tracking a pandemic. A pandemic is a public health crisis, not a public relations crisis. Conflating the spread of a disease with the way people feel about responding to that spread is deeply illogical. Yet, a great deal of Biden's administration's management of COVID-19 has rested on this confusion. Joe Biden amplified this mistake perspective last September when he noted that the pandemic was over and then backed the claim stating, "If you notice, no one's wearing masks. Everyone seems to be in pretty good shape." The presence or absence of health behaviors reveal little about a threat to health itself, of course, and a decline in mask use being shaped in part by the Biden administration's warning support for masking. Let's see, what else happened last year? The fact that it cost us more to do the things we need to survive, eating, rise of groceries, is insane. Some claim high prices are a result of good old-fashioned corporate greed. Producers and sellers of food claims that increased costs from inflation and factories like higher wages are driving up prices. But in reality, wages are not keeping the pace of inflation. With higher wages might be responsible for slightly higher prices for consumers, the increase in retail costs for items is often rising higher than employee wages. In fact, many food producers have accused of raising costs simply because they can. Corporations have used inflation, the pandemic, and supply chain challenges as an excuse to exaggerate their own costs and then nickel and dime consumers. Kyle Herrig, the president of Watchdog organization Accountable US, alleges that the New York Times in 2022, the average price of potato chips was $5.23 in January. By December of that year, the number had increased to $6.28. Meanwhile, the Times reported PepsiCo, the owner of Frito-Lay, increased profits by 20% in its third quarter alone. Trans people constantly getting attacked. Abortion, something that should be legal, is constantly being tested. Remember the entire actor and writer strike that put so many people out of business? Yeah, the job market trash. Black people still dealing with racism everywhere. The Kate Corain book situation might be one of the best examples of this. From here, it's not hard to throw Corain's actions into a growing pile of hot stinking racist rants in 2023 and beyond. But as always, the Deflection Brigade has come to her rescue despite her admission of guilt and all the evidence pointing to her motive. Aside from a few authors calling for empathy, some commenters have tried to police how and how long we talk about the topic. Others prefer to move on from things like contracts and brought up other instances where review bombing has been lauded when an actor catches the ear of an unhappy community. Corain herself has issues with all kinds of excuses meant to explain away actions of her apologies, and most who bother to read it have chalked up to pure and simple racism. That's exactly what it looks like on the face. She wants us to believe that the target just happened to be women of color. Seems highly unlikely, but I'd like to give her the benefit of the doubt and explore all the possible excuses. I mean reasons she's using to explain her behavior in a game I like to call everything but racism. It's good to see how many speaking out against Corain's actions and bringing to light how harmful people like her are to BIPOC authors and the communities they belong to at large. Reviewers have power to sway buying choices and even opinions, and she knows that. All of the people to go after, she went for those clutching to crumbs. This is what racism has always been and what it looks like today's post-Jim Crow, that people of color, even when minding their business, even while trying to pull themselves up, even when making spaces for themselves and doing the work, there's always a Corain with all the opportunities intact, lurking in the cut to push off the cliff. The most ironic thing of it all is the woman on her book cover is a woman of color. And misogyny being at an all-time high thanks to all these damn alpha male podcasts that keep popping up everywhere. Y'all, this isn't even half of what happened in 2023. And around the time the Disney Jujutsu Kaisen crossover was going on, that is when it became more in our faces about what was going on with not just Palestine, but also Sudan and Congo. Free all of them. And pretty much all of these things that I have stated and more have had a negative impact on people's lives. And you want to know what people turn to when they are dealing with a lot? They turn to the arts. Art movements in the past are literally created because of difficult times that people were having. But I want to use the Black arts movement as an example as I studied it last year in college. The Black arts movement was started when Malcolm X was K-worded. The Black arts movement, sometimes referred to as the Black aesthetics movement, was influential in its ability to put together social, cultural, and political elements of Black experience and establish a cultural presence in America on a mainstream level by incorporating visual motifs representative of the African diaspora, as well as themes of revolutionary politics supporting Black nationalism. The Black arts movement overtly distincted itself from white Eurocentric form of art. It is not only highlight work of Black artists, but sought to define a universal experience of Blackness that expressed empowerment, pride, and liberation. Well-known Black public figures such as Maya Angelou, James Baldwin, Bell Hooks, Gwendolyn Brooks, and Nikki Giovanni, along with Audre Lorde, contributed to the Black arts movement. And close in this time during the Black arts movement was the Blaxploitation movement, which started up because of the lack of Black representation in American films and how Black roles were often limited to characters being house servants and contributing very little to nothing to the plot. The legacy of Blaxploitation. Blaxploitation films carve out a virtue space for Black stories on screen. These films address the desire of Black audiences to see themselves represented, both in tales of success and overcoming challenging journeys. They resonate with the viewer due to their relatable narratives, even if the films were exploitative. Exploitation cinema is a strange yet important place in cinema history. These low-budget, high-risk films often challenge the conventional norms of the industry that decided was sustainable for mainstream theaters. This is precisely what Blaxploitation subgenre sought and achieved in the early 1970s by tackling controversial themes through artistic expression and challenging the conventional norms of mainstream cinema. The rich and intricate history of Blaxploitation in Hollywood originates from the desire of Black films, actors, and audiences to witness the portrayal on screen in a manner that transcends and combines victimhood within the persuasive white narrative. We can sit here and talk about why crack shipping happens because fans see flaws or something is lacking in the original works. Let's go ahead and get this out the way first. With Rise of the Bright Tangled Dragons, these characters were all pretty much social outcasts that could have benefited from having some friends or even being allowed to have normal lives. Many people, including myself, don't like the movie Brave, but we like its main character, Merida. Also, I've never seen Rise of the Guardians, but anytime I do discourse about this movie, they're just talking about Jack. More than half of Rise of the Guardians fan content is just Jack. I will always call Miraculous Ladybug the Euphoria of animation because so many of the issues Euphoria has with its writing is present in that damn show. As much as I enjoy Marinette, I understand why people don't want her with Adrienne because the show does an ass job of not just writing her, but every female character in that series. The romance in this show is one of its key factors that makes up its story, and it's awful. And this is coming from someone that likes the Adrienette ship. It's not well written, and I'm done gaslighting myself to think a Miraculous Ladybug is worth defending anymore. I'm tired. I legit started shipping Natalie with Bruce Wayne as a joke until I remember how much I hated the way they ended up writing her and Gabriel's situationship and actually ended up liking her with Bruce. And with the Disney Jujutsu Kaisen crossover, a lot of the Disney relationships don't be having that much chemistry and numerous other issues, so let's start there. Cinderella. If we're talking about Brandy Cinderella, I have no notes with that movie. But we're talking about the white one. We barely saw her hang out with the prince. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Hercules and Megara's relationship. I didn't care for it then, I don't now. The original Greek myth actually made me hate that ship. And I don't care too much for the male heroine, Hercules. He's like Disney Clark Kent, and I didn't start to like Clark Kent until my adventures with Superman. Great show, by the way. Hallie's Ariel literally fixed all my issues I had with the original Little Mermaid. The 80s Little Mermaid is the one that is used for the Disney Jujutsu Kaisen crossover, and the way Ariel and Aerith's relationship was played in that film, it needed improvement. It's like we were supposed to root for them to be together, but the romance in that movie was not romancing. And y'all already know how I feel about Tiana and Naveen, whose relationship was written better in the book that came out over 10 years later after the movie. And to explain Elsa is literally Merida all over again. People have been taking issues with Disney not giving their female main characters a love interest as a way to be feminist, when sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. Personally, I think this is a discussion for another time because I still need to give this some thought and some research about this topic. Mind you, this is not just hetero. Merida was often shipped with Rapunzel during Rise of the Brave Tale Dragons. And not only was Elsa shipped with Gojo often with the Disney Jujutsu Kaisen crossover, she's been shipped with Makima from Chainsaw Man. But JJK isn't a story where romance is one of its key elements, which is not a problem. Also, when Jujutsu Kaisen does focus on romance, it's not really that well done. And I say this because often when it's brought up, it's kind of thrown away not long after that. This is why the men in the show are often shipped together by the fans. Not a problem, by the way. But also for years, people have been shipping the JJK men with women OCs because the series did not have any women to ship them with. And let's be honest, Jujutsu Kaisen does an awful job of writing women. Barely anybody wants the men anywhere near stank-ass Mei, the one woman in the show that we see the most. I hate to say it, we hate Mei, but she has the most effort put into her character than the rest of the women. Oh, I hate how cunty her design is. And Yuki, Utsumani, and Shoko are my homegirls, but I will admit the writing for them is not the best. People turn to crack shipping to create what isn't there in the media we have. But also, people turn to crack shipping because they find it to be fun in this dreadful world we live in, unfortunately. Y'all, if a ship is very much illegal and the crossover is harmless, let people enjoy things. We have actual problems in this world to deal with. Now, here's where it starts to get more personal. I debated on if I should keep this section in simply because so many people have very little empathy towards Black women because we are expected to always be strong no matter what is going on. Last year, I watched a film called The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster. That's a modern retelling of the story Frankenstein, with the main character being a Black girl played by Leah Leon Hayes. I went into this movie not really knowing what to expect, but the film's portrayal of grief was something that stuck with me long after I watched it. The main character was so angry because everyone in her life that she loved kept dying. There's a Black writer whose blog I follow, and she's very open about her struggles in general. The blog is called Diary of a Sad Black Woman by Jackie A. For the longest, I felt misunderstood about my feelings with being sad and angry, and reading her blog made me feel less alone about all of that. I do appreciate the vulnerability she shares with the audience with things relating to dating, work, mental and physical health, and also grief. I'm also very appreciative about how Megan Thee Stallion has opened up about her struggles with grief. I am a very sad woman, okay? A very sad Black woman on top of that. If you have been watching my channel, you're probably familiar with how I'm dealing with a lot of grief. Sometimes it's hard for me to get through the day because of this. Sometimes I can barely even get out of bed. And my struggles aren't anyone's business, but there's so much that I have gone through in my life and still have so much to work through with all the trauma that it has caused me. I'm not only dealing with that, but also my grandma, my grandpa, and my mother were all dead by the end of 2021. And not too long after that, a few of my mother's siblings passed just as well. And I ended up losing one of my closest friends around the time that the Disney Jujutsu Kaisen crossover became a thing. And it makes no sense how much I wish I could talk to her again. And I mentioned that before, that I'm done pretending like I'm not bitchy about her dying, because I truly am. And then my cousin died a few weeks ago. There's only so much that I can handle, okay, on top of the fact that I still care about the other issues that are going on in our world. Why do y'all think I got so angry last month about that situation where the owner of that group I was a part of, and like she kicked me out and she lied about the reason why she kicked me out? There is only so much that we can handle. Y'all, we are human. And guess what? Humans often go towards the arts because it helps them deal with the struggles of life. Literally, 2 months after my mother died, I started drawing again because I was struggling that bad. I didn't know what to do. I felt like I was losing it, and I went and grabbed my sketchbook and I drew a little cat. Personally, with the Disney Jujutsu crossover, I like the Toji and Megara ship the most because I can see myself in both of those characters. Two very broken people who want better in life because they were failed by those who were supposed to help them. Me shipping Toji and Megara is something that genuinely makes me happy no matter how cringe people think it fucking is. Cosplay is also something that makes me happy and people find that to be cringe just as well. I'm actually gonna be hosting a Disney Jujutsu Kaisen photo shoot this May, and I'm extremely excited about it. At this point, I don't really care how cringe someone thinks I am for liking the idea of Toji and Megara being together romantically, because it is one of the things that puts a smile on my face. If something silly and harmless gets you through the day, then go on and enjoy that thing. Okay, that ended on a really sad note. So I think now would be the perfect time to do the monthly Q&A that I always do here on my channel to lighten the mood a little bit. For those of you guys who don't know, I usually do a monthly Q&A at the end of one of my more longer, more detailed, more scripted type videos. So I thought this one would be perfect for that. I usually do the Q&As, they're Patreon only, but sometimes I will go and ask my Instagram. So if you would like to participate in these Q&As, either join my Patreon or follow me on Instagram. You follow me on Instagram for free. So yeah, so I went and asked my followers. You guys asked me quite a few questions. Hopefully I can go through all of them. I might speed through some of these, but if I feel like some of you guys kind of sent the same questions over and over again. Do you feel isolated or disconnected from the cosplay anime tunes community? For the longest, I used to feel very isolated from the tune community, but not anymore, because a lot of people, I'm like, okay, I feel like it has a lot to do with the fact that I'm friends with a lot of people in the cartoon community, because a lot of people know that I'm friends with Veritas Joe, Offbeat Kiki, Tarifa Tariq, and mind you, I became friends with those people pretty early on, like in 2020. But like I felt like I was kind of like isolated from the community, because it's like while the creators really liked my stuff, I felt like the actual community people weren't really feeling me all that much. But I realized that my videos aren't for everyone, because with a lot of the other people in the cartoon community, they make more videos that are just like, this is a review of this show, this is just me analyzing this character or the storyline and whatnot. And with me, I take like cartoons and I like, you know, use them from like a more educational point of view. But I feel a lot more comfortable now in my place in like the cartoon community, so I don't necessarily feel isolated with that. And I feel like I found my place too when it comes to like the anime community too, just as well. And it's mainly, okay, I made it clear that my place in the anime community is that I really want to be more so into people, more so with people that like josei and like seinen. And I pretty much like found that a lot of y'all do watch me, because you told me that you would like for me to talk more about like seinen and josei just as well. Those are like the two main demographics that I read now, because like I'm grown. I'm very tired of like shoujo and like shonen. I never really been like the biggest fan of. Like I said, if those men were not in Jujutsu Kaisen, like the men and women in Jujutsu Kaisen, if they weren't there, I would not really be interested in the series all that much. But the cosplay community, yes, I do technically feel disconnected from the cosplay community to a certain extent, and this just has a lot to do with the fact that something that I mentioned earlier, talking about how a lot of my content that I make is very educational based, and like I post my cosplay and my educational post on the same stuff because I'm like, yeah, we're gonna dress up and have fun over here, but we're also gonna get in our bag and fucking learn. And one thing, I know somebody had mentioned something about this, and I don't want to say it because I don't want like this to come off the wrong way, but somebody had said something about how a lot of people like in nerd spaces, they just kind of don't want to like, you know, think about like certain things that go in our media, because you can sit here and talk about how a show that you really enjoy did something very harmful with a certain like race or ethnic group, or like they did something very homophobic, or they did something transphobic, and you'll have that whole group of community people feeling like you're trying to ruin it. And I'm like, no, this is just a problem, and I just wanted to speak about it a little bit. Like, if you enjoy something, you also, you know, hold it accountable for like the wrong that it done. I get that. Like, not everything that I like is perfect, but like I realized that because my educational content does turn off a lot of people in the cosplay community, that is why I have felt disconnected for the longest. But like at the same time, I told myself, it was something Lisa Ferval had said. Ferval, Lisa, if you watching this, I'm so sorry. I be fucking up your last name so bad. I'll link her channel down below. Mainly on her podcast called As If. She mentioned something talking about how there are people you do not want to be liked by. And I kind of learned my lesson the hard way. Again, if you guys are familiar with the situation that happened like with the Waffle House. Yeah, there are people out here that you do not want to be accepted by. There are people out here that you do not want to be liked by. So yeah, that is just how my current feelings are. But like I said, the right people find me, they come to me. A lot of people I do connect with in the cosplay community, they are like very like similar to me. And when I say similar to me, I mean like they do like understand like the importance of like education and, you know, liking something but also realizing that it has flaws and whatnot. So like I said, I think I will feel a lot more better about it like later on like this summer. But yeah, I'm just wanted to be a little bit more transparent because I am transparent when it comes to like these Q&As. So yeah, that one was long. I did not think that. Also, what is your dream cosplay you'd like to do and what stop you from doing it? Time and money. I have like a lot of like dream cosplays because I really want to do the Jamajo Doremi cosplays. I already had it on my list to do Aiko. Like Aiko's regular outfits, the one with the blue hair. But it's just, I just have not gotten around to doing that. I have a JJK cosplay that I have coming, and it is kind of like a dream cosplay, but it's kind of already being done, so I can't really say that one. But I'd say Moon Girl, and I'm more so interested in doing her season 2 look than her season 1 one. That is like my dream cosplay. I was supposed to do it last year, but y'all, that shit was expensive as hell, so I had to put it on like the back burner for a little bit, and I wanted to pick it back up again because I did Lunella's, like, you know, what is that, her regular everyday outfit, but like her actual Moon Girl super suit. Oh god, so Moon Girl would definitely have to be like a dream cosplay of mine. Casey has been on my cosplays for the longest too, and anytime I like try to get around to doing Casey, a cosplay that is much cheaper comes up and I do that. So Lunella and Casey really are like a dream cosplay of mine. What cartoons, anime, comics, mangas feature your favorite fashion? Okay, I remember I used to really just like reading the Starfire comics because of the way she would be dressed in them. I'm not even joking. Like, the fashion is really what made me read a lot of them shits. It's why I really liked her character so much for the most part, but I'm not even gonna be joking. It was Starfire. I have my beef with Aizawa, but I really did enjoy the outfits in Neighborhood Story. I do feel like a lot of the outfits were a little bit too much for like the characters because of like how young they were, but I really did enjoy a lot of like the fashion from her stuff. And I know a lot of her, she takes a lot of inspo from like Vivienne Westwood. I'd say a movie though that I really enjoyed the fashion from would have to be Do Revenge. Like, I had the honor of actually being an extra in that movie, and I actually got to wear one of the outfits, and it was super cute. But I say like the most recent thing where I really enjoyed the outfits, where I think the outfits ate down, would have to be Do Revenge. Have you seen any JJK Spy family art? Okay, I've seen this one art. It was actually really cute. And since we're talking about crack ships in this whole video, somebody drew like your like tapping like a man on the shoulder because she thought it was Lloyd, because you know that's her husband. She thought it was Lloyd, but it turned out to be nanami. And I was like, you know what? I like your and nanami. I like that. So yeah, I have seen some art. What do you think that in Kanto? Do you think that like in Kanto, Wish needed more time? It came at the wrong time. Wish needed a redo. Like when I say in Kanto needed more time, I feel like Encanto is something that I think needed like a good 3 to 4 hours to like fully flesh out all they wanted to do because of how big the family was. Wish is something that needed more time being worked on. They needed to redo so much shit with Wish. Like, it's so sad what happened to that movie. Yeah, and like I said, I do think they just really should have took a little bit more time with that film. So do you have any ideas for your own content that you hadn't gotten around to doing? I really wanted to do more like Y2K type content, like stuff that I would see like on MTV back in the day when I really was supposed to be watching that shit. I really wanted to do like kind of like more old camera looking type videos and whatnot. I also really wanted to do more like animated videos. If you guys ever watch my friend Tariq's videos where he would do a lot of like the drawings in his like videos and whatnot, like his older videos, I've really been wanting to do like more stuff like that with my videos. I just really, it's kind of like scary sharing your drawings with people, so that's why I never really gotten around to doing it. And also I've been really stressed out lately. So I told myself like putting out something is better than putting out nothing when it comes to like YouTube, because at the end of the day, this is my job. I have to do it. As much as I enjoy it, I have to do it for profit because it's how I pay my bills and whatnot. Favorite manga you're currently reading? I've been reading this manga called Bartender. Pretty interesting. What are your favorite conventions in ATL? I'd say my favorite Atlanta convention for sure would have to be MomoCon. Like, I've been to pretty much all of like the Atlanta conventions. The worst one, the one I don't recommend anyone ever go to really if they come to Atlanta and go to a convention. Don't go to ATL Comic Convention. I don't recommend that one whatsoever. Absolutely fucking not. But MomoCon is usually my favorite, I'd say, mainly because I love the springtime. I can wear like my favorite cosplays and not freeze my ass off and whatnot. And AWA, Anime Week in Atlanta, that one's very hit or miss. It's really hit or miss, unfortunately. And I know they've been having a lot more like smaller cons that go on here in Atlanta. Atlanta has a lot of like cosplay events, by the way. For those of you guys who don't know, the cosplay scene here is like very big. By the way, drag and cosplay are very similar, by the way. Does anybody else think that? But yeah, because the drag scene is pretty big here, but the cosplay scene is big here too. Beltline Cosplay usually hosts pretty fun like events, like cosplay related. I know Trap Sushi is like a very popular, I know I've been there before though. Trap Sushi is a very popular like cosplay event too, just as well. Not me up here talking about like cosplay events, but like even though they're cosplay events, they're like gaming events and things like that, because I know Beltline recently had like a Dragon Ball like karaoke event, I say. Any advice for being alone? I cut a lot of people off and I want to spend more time with myself. Oh, okay. As somebody who is a professional lone wolf, not something I really think I should be bragging about. I grew up like really lonely. A lot of people really know that. Mainly because that had to do a lot with like, you know, stuff that I'm not really going to talk about on camera, but like trust issues and whatnot. You need to like yourself. I told myself that like, who's gonna love you if you don't love you? You have to like yourself. Being alone really gives you the time to figure out what you like. And then when I say what you like what's your interest, being alone, you'll find like, you know, new books to read, new shows to watch, pick up a new hobby. Because me being alone and like being away from people is how I ended up like start drawing again. You really kind of have to spend that time to do like a lot of like self-reflection, because I remember somebody had said something about how it's not good for people to like when they get out of one relationship they get into like a new one. I know like a lot of women where like they break up with one man and they get with another one right away, and I'm like, no, in between that time period I really think you kind of have to sit and like grow and learn a little bit about yourself, because also like spending more time with yourself, you realize that you are flawed. You realize you have stuff that you need to work on. And I'm somebody that thinks that platonic relationships are important. I think you do need friends. I understand like the importance of having friends and whatnot, but like also I think everybody needs alone time, because you being alone will make you figure out like what you need to work on with yourself. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. My favorite cosplay that I've done, I do like a lot of cosplays, but I say my 2 recent cosplays that have been my favorites have to be when I did Karen from the new Mean Girls, and then when I did Toji's wife. Toji's wife was like very easy and simple, but like if you know, you know. I love me some Toji. I mean, yeah, y'all saw that. And like I said, I feel like part of the reason why I like Toji and Megara so much is because I see a lot of myself in Megara's character. So yeah, who are y'all? Ooh, I like this one. Who are your top 3 JJK men? Okay, that's funny because I actually have 3 mains that I like really enjoy the most. There's no specific order with like my JJK men. Nanami, everyone loves Nanami. Nanami is like, he is very like caring. He'll sit there and like he'll protect you, but he's also very like unwell. I think Nanami needs therapy. Okay, but Nanami is like somebody we kind of all really enjoy because we see that he is caring, but he takes like no shit from nobody. Now the hot mess, here we call him, the other 2. People be so surprised when they find out I'm not really into gojo. Y'all, it's actually met a really lovely supporter, and I told her like one of the guys in JJK that I really like, and she said that surprises me from watching your channel that you like him, from the way you be talking. I'm like, yeah, like I do feel I like Nanami, but Nanami is like the man a lot of people kind of like expect me to like because of like the way I talk on my channel and things like that. Choso, somebody had said something to me. They were like, Harry, if you got a boyfriend, he'd be a lot like him. And I was just like, okay, why did you have to say that to me? Because I can't unsee it now. But Choso, very much a depressed individual, just like me. He's honestly really, really, like, I find him to be really attractive. I mean, I find Nanami to be really attractive. Like, Choso is like a different type of attractive. Like, giving, like, alts. He would like, anytime people like draw Choso, they be drawing him like with piercings and the black nail polish and wearing all black and shit like that. Yeah, but like Choso, he has like very like unhinged behavior at times, but he has shown to be like a very like caring person. Like somebody said something they really like about Choso is like he may be like dealing with his own bullshit, but like if he really fuck with you, he will beat somebody's ass over you. But yeah, I really, really like Choso. Not mainly because I think he's like really, really hot. I like him because I think he's just like a very caring individual. And the same thing with like Nanami too, just as well. And then the last JJK man that I really, really love would have to be Toji. Y'all know I love me some Toji. Toji is like, I wrote an entire like blog post down below. By the way, if you read my blog, thank you. I really appreciate everyone that actually reads that thing. But I put a lot of work into it. But Toji, I will have that link down below that expresses why I like adore him so much. He is a mess, but I love Toji. I can fix him. If you seen that shirt I wore, you already know. This person asked, do you still have a show like, do you like the show Lab Rats or do you feel much differently? Much love, peace sign. You're so sweet. I do like Lab Rats. It's been a minute since I watched it. Last time I watched it was when I made that video talking about how they just kind of pushed Leo out the show in the end. I still really do like it. There are things in it that did not age well. Lab Rats did have a bit of a misogyny issue, like pretty much every Disney XD show. Like, I think out of all of the series on Disney XD, I think Lab Rats may be one of the ones that was the most well written. And I'm not talking about the animated series, I'm talking about the live action shows. Like, Kicking It may have been my favorite from Disney XD, but like, I'd say Lab Rats was better written. Mind you, Lab Rats, I actually cared about the story. And Kicking It, I didn't care. I just really cared about the story with Kim and Jack. And then if it wasn't Kim and Jack, it was just Kim. Where do you go find parts of your cosplays? It often seems hard. Okay, go thrifting. Go thrifting. Go to the damn Goodwill. I was actually in Goodwill earlier today looking for some thrifted stuff and touched something really, really gross in there, and I'm still mad about it. Goodwill, dye. Sometimes you have to fix stuff up yourself. I am like the dyeing queen. If I need to dye something for my costume, I will. Like when I did my Tiana Bayou cosplay, I had to dye that jacket. That jacket was actually white, and I had to dye it green. Usually, if you go like thrifting, you can find pieces. Amazon, yeah, but they start hiking up the prices of a lot of cosplay stuff because cosplay is a little bit more mainstream now. Usually you can build a lot of your stuff. Like I know a lot of people I know they build their props and they say it's a lot cheaper for them to build their props, but it's just a little bit like more time consuming and whatnot. You can find a lot of tutorials about how to build like, you know, props and whatnot. Sometimes you can bootleg it and figure it out yourself. I applaud you. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was a long ass one, okay? I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And I also hope you got a little laugh key out of it. I'm tired. I literally have a photo shoot tomorrow, so we gotta hurry up and edit this shit and get it done. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day, night, whatever time of the day you chose to watch this video. I'm just thankful that you watched it with the ads on. Alright, thank you. Goodbye.
Now that you see, you should beware of the power of three. They come to fight as fast as they can. They're dangerous yet fabulous. Because the Utonium made them eschew. They are the colors of pink, green, and blue. They'll catch you in the blink of an eye and do it all before bedtime. They coming through and fighting, and everyone they're shocking. You know no one can stop them all because of the chemical X. They coming through and fighting, and everyone they're shocking. You know no one can stop them all because of the chemical X. Girls will just blow your mind. Buttercup fight villains 3 at a time. Bubbles will smile while kicking your butt, and Blossom will lead them out of their rut. Cherish and Powerpuff, 2 of a kind.